This world has seen the very worst of us. Sometimes I think her tears might never end. With all the hunger, poverty, and pain, some people say this world is at an end. But I will try to listen to my heart, no matter what they think or what they say. I won't be afraid to do my part and help the sun to shine for one more day. So I keep walking on with a vision and this song, as the goodness in this world drifts out of sight. But I keep my smile, everything will be alright once my lucky ladybug takes flight. Once my lucky ladybug takes flight.
It made me happy to see children of today taking such an interest into what's going on in the world.
I think it's a wonderful thing that she's done.
You know what, Hannah? I'd like to keep one of these and continue to do your good work, okay?
We're coming from a Christmas manicure. We just had lots of fun together. And we were in the car, and we were driving down a back lane. And she was admiring her sparkly nails. We were singing Christmas carols, and we were sort of at the end of the lane. 5 feet away from us as we were driving was a man eating out of a garbage can, and he was voraciously eating, and it was something that you couldn't miss because it was right there. I was literally driving in his direction. And we both stopped singing, and we both looked at him, and he looked up at us, and he went right back. And Hannah said, "Mommy, what is he doing? Why is he doing it?"
I didn't know that there was homeless people. So I was really shocked and said that there's something not right here. I thought everyone should have a home.
And it was horrible. It was horrible to see. And I didn't know what to say. And it was something that I never thought I would share with a child that was 5. And so I couldn't think of anything profound to say. And so I just said, you know, Hannah, he's down on his luck. He has nowhere to live and nowhere to eat, and he does that because he's hungry and he has to.
I thought of that man almost every night. I worried about him almost for a year. And then I finally just had to do something about it. I just couldn't stop. I just had to stop being sad.
We tried to sort of, you know, have it not be something that she would worry about. And then when she started at her school, there was a lady that was right outside the gates of her school, and it was sort of in a poor part of the city, and you know, everything she had pretty much was in this grocery cart, and she was there a lot panhandling. She said, "Mommy, I know you can't stop when I'm with you, but can you give her some money? Can you do something for her?" And she would ask a lot. And so it seemed after, you know, now that this woman was outside the school gates, that this was something that she was going to be reminded of again. And then finally one night when she went to go to bed, I just said to her, you know, Hannah, sometimes when you worry about something, if you think of a little something that you can do to help it, maybe you won't worry so much anymore. And it was like a light went on for her. She went to bed, and a couple of days later, she said, "Mommy, I know what I'm going to do."
Hannah came to me one day and said, "Mrs. Hildebrand, could we have a lunch meeting? There's something very important I want to talk to you about."
We went to the teacher's lounge. I talked to my teachers.
She had grandiose ideas of raising money and building a shelter.
They said it was great, absolutely wonderful.
We do have shelters around the city that care for the homeless, and could we do something to perhaps help the ones that are already there?
They gave me some of their ideas, and it turned into one humongous big idea.
We collected baby food jars full of money. We We solicited the students and the parents and the staff to contribute money and clothes and blankets and cans of coffee, because the homeless shelters have like 3,000 cups of coffee that they serve each day, so we thought we could help in that way. And gathered up all this stuff to give to the homeless mission, and that was the start of it. Hannah had gone around the city with her dad and found a homeless shelter that she thought would be a good place to contribite to.
I invited them to come down to meet us and to see the mission firsthand. So as a result, that night, Hannah's dad, Bruce, brought Hannah down, and that was our initial meeting. Now this area that we have right here, this is where everybody eats. 6 people can eat here. And when it's really cold out, or when
I left, I was so encouraged that I could help. For some reason, it's just, I can help, yeah.
Have you seen the kitchen before?
I actually started to cry. I mean, I don't know why, but I started to cry. For some reason, happy tears that I was actually going to help.
The first thing that happened was I guess I offered, I said, you know, I'll come to your school and speak to your class if you would like. And so they arranged that I could come and do that, and then Hannah sprung this fundraising program on her class. She says, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. She's got it all organized and mapped out, and sure enough, they did it.
Hannah's Ladybug project really has gone past the point of just being about some ladybug jars. And that's a wonderful thing. There's a lot of people now out there who are perhaps seeing homelessness or thinking about you know, problems, social problems, things that maybe the day before they weren't. And this has caught their attention, and this has been a way to get an effective message.
They're listening to you, and they're not going to care if you make a mistake. They're not looking at the page, so it doesn't really matter. You just want to get your message out.
She spoke at her sister's school, and a few of the girls took jars. They were very supportive, but one of the children that took the jars happens to be the editor of the Winnipeg Free Press's stepdaughter, and that's how Gordon Sinclair found out about Hannah.
I've written this column, this general interest column, for over 20 years, and I've done lots of very inspiring stories and human interest stories about people. This is by far the most inspiring of them all. It brought me to tears at times, and it truly put a smile on my face, and it did to me what it does to so many others. It just inspires you.
The support for Hannah has been phenomenal, but I don't want Hannah to be a political trophy where to some degree she is, I don't know, exploited because of her courage and her passion and her compassion, that the people that are now applauding Hannah lose sight of the fact of the people that she's passionate about, that are real, broken, wounded people, that for the most part politicians wouldn't phone or give very little consideration to. And yet they're the ones that Hannah's really trying to help.
I think what it is with Hannah is that she is the personification of innocence and idealism. And it's what we all maybe were at one time, but time and experience and the world has eroded that.
She's going to meet with the mayor, and it's a very private thing. And when I talked to his assistant, I said, you know, she has lots of questions and lots of things to talk to him about. He needs to listen to her. Whether or not he can do anything, I really need to be sure they want to listen to her.
She sees these people as simply people, whereas most of us don't. It's all about the cause. It's not about her. It's not about anything else but the homeless.
Someone gave me a Lady Big Jar actually on full, and I have no idea why, but
and she said to me, you know, Mom, how come someone didn't fill this? And I said, you know, Hannah, sometimes there will be people who don't believe in what you believe in, and that's just life. And she said to me, you mean, Mom, there are people that don't believe that we should all care about each other and share a little of what we have? And I had to say, yeah.
Oh, it didn't really hurt my feelings. I was just a bit confused.
You know, there are lots of big hearts out there that are just waiting for a way to express themselves and to get involved and to help out. And some of them will tune in to an 8-year-old child who has a simple message and who says, you know, and I can be big enough to speak about it, and I can be big enough to talk about it and try to help with it. And by the way, if I can, you know, so can you.
This morning we have an appointment at the Children's Variety Park Center. 4 weeks ago, Hannah, well, first of all, she was born with a flow murmur and it never really manifested itself into anything. But 4 weeks ago, she started to get quite sick, and we ended up in Children's Emergency, and they then referred us over here, and they did an echocardiogram and found a hole. And now they're doing some further tests to be sure that to find out if in fact the hole needs to be repaired and if there are any more problems that we need to know about. We're terrified for Hannah.
One day I was coming out of the car to go to school, and I just didn't feel good for some reason. I just had to hold like here. I have no idea why. And then I got back into the car, drove home, and I had to stay home for that day. And then whenever I actually had this heart problem, it would start to like hurt and I would start to cry. But now it's gotten better actually. It says it didn't hurt that much anymore, and it doesn't happen, I mean, that much anymore. So I'm glad that it doesn't, because it sort of wrecks my day. This is one of the places where I dropped out my ladybug jar.
You know what, Hannah? I'd like to keep one of these and continue to do your good work, okay?
Thank you.
You have made a difference in my life. You have. I'm inspired that a 7-year-old, 8-year-old
yes,
has inspired me. And on behalf of us, we have collected this for you. We just thought it's fitting.
Oh my gosh, a bag and a jar, wow.
Yes. And
would you like to keep the jar?
And we're going to keep this because we'll continue to do this on your behalf.
Do you remember bringing this in at Christmas time? And what was in it? It was your allowance. You had brought your allowance in here, and we used it to help look after the poor people. And then, you know what? We have money in here again. And do you know who gave that money? The homeless people. They gave their own money so that we can help look after them. This is so cool. Thank you, Hannah.
When I saw Hannah and what she did, it warmed my heart. It means a lot to me to see her taking such a liking to this place, the people in this place.
It's something that you can't put in money-wise. It's so much from the heart that she's sharing. And it's really beautiful that to see the next generation doing this and knowing that it's not for her credit or for money or for anything like that. It's coming from her heart.
Be interested to find out where the world would be if we had more people like her.
Hannah is so unusual. I look at my kids, I love my kids, and my kids are great, but when they were 8 years old, they were not advocating for the homeless. But what she does do is she inspires me and she motivates me to do the best job I can day in and day out, so that I'm true to her convictions, her passion, that people are helped to the full extent that we can possibly help them.
Thank you for letting me come and speak to you about something I care very much about, people without a home, homeless people. Can you even imagine?
It's amazing how it spills over into your thoughts, and it was interesting because one weekend when it was so very cold out, I was thinking, and I happened to be driving in my car and thinking how lucky I was to be in a warm car. But then I thought of Hannah, and I thought, you know what? I wonder if I would even have really thought about that had I not listened to Hannah.
Over the past 2 years, I've learned a lot about homelessness. I've also learned that if you are worried about something and you do something to help the problem, you won't worry so much.
How inspiring that this young girl who's 7 could have that kind of influence on adults, on young people alike. So I think that I think I have to call her very inspiring.
She's just normal. Like, she plays pretend, she watches TV, she comes, dances in my room, like, just normal.
That bugs me? Well, she sings a lot, which is great. But, you know, occasionally I have work to do and she sings pretty loud. She's a great singer though, actually, it's hilarious. She's a really good singer, so occasionally that bothers me though. It's not a big deal.
I love drawing. I love bugs, but except for spiders. I like school because you get to learn stuff, and sometimes you learn them in really, really neat ways, like going on a field trip or staying here doing an experiment or projects.
She is so busy. She loves her horses. She English rides, and she loves to go to the barns. Just so regular. She's just so busy. She can't do a forward roll. It drives her absolutely crazy that she can't do a somersault, so don't ask her about that.
Actually, that's a great little story because she was asked by someone if she was afraid of speaking in public and talking to all these people, and she, you know, just looked up and smiled and said, you know, I'm not afraid of speaking to people, and I'm not afraid of doing speeches. She said, but I am afraid of doing a forward roll. And I think that puts all of this into perspective.
My message is that you can help these people. If you're big, if you're small, even if you're from a different country, you can help them. You can make a difference. That's my message.
I don't worry so much anymore because I know I can help, and so can you. This year, I plan to teach as many people as possible about the needs of homeless people and ask for their help. Together we can help. We all have so much. We just need to share.
3 years ago, I think I have to say also, I can certainly say, we never thought about homelessness. We never thought about the weather. We never thought, somehow we thought it was taken care of. We just never thought about it. And once, you know, and Hannah's forced us to think about it.
I was in Toronto the other day, and it was cold outside, and we passed a number of people who were homeless and who were asking for help. And I used to walk by them, and I don't anymore. I stopped for each one. And my daughter taught me that.
Maybe all my dreams are quite naive. Maybe I'm a fool because I tried. like a child I keep on hoping and believe there will be a ladybug in flight. So I keep walking on with a vision and this song as the goodness in this world drifts out of sight. But I keep my smile, everything will be alright once my lucky ladybug takes flight. Once my lucky ladybug